stand by for Titanfall.
Hey Titanfall legends, my name is Lucas, aka Jacksondale, and the purpose of this video is to do a quick recap of Titanfall and to go over rumored dates for the Titanfall 2 release. Keep in mind this is a quick overview, I'll just be going over the basics, not going too advanced. Now let's get right into it. Titanfall 1 launched on March 11, 2014. Almost exactly 4 years after Respawn CEO Vince Zampella was fired by Activision and left to build a new team. Titanfall was marketed to be a game-changing new experience, with the unique interplay between being a foot soldier with epic mobility and jumping into this giant robot known as your Titan. The game sold nearly 1 million copies in the first few weeks alone, and at one point had 100,000 viewers on Twitch.tv. The response to the players and media was surprisingly positive at first. Titanfall received over 8.5 out of 10 from just about every major gaming review site. Although many pundits originally titled the game Call of Duty with mechs, those remarks quickly died down as people realized Titanfall was definitely its own game, for better or worse. Although most Titanfall players and reviewers praised Titanfall's core gameplay, the response wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. The multiplayer campaign, which was meant to blend the aspects of the epic moments of single player with the multiplayer experience, was not received too well. The epic moments turned out to be background noise, as you were too busy fighting the other players to even notice. One thing became clear: telling a good story is important to people. Speaking of controversies, another one was the resolution on Xbox One and Xbox 360. Although Titanfall ran in its full glory on PC, the game had to be downscaled for the consoles. Although your average player probably didn't care, the hardcore gamers rebelled and spoke out fiercely about it. Fast forward a few months, Titanfall quickly started the DLC train, which to most players, although interesting, was sort of a letdown. There was a lot of hype around the idea of having more options in Titanfall. New Titans, weapons, or other customizable choices. Turns out the Titanfall DLC was just a bunch of maps, which in the minds of a lot of players didn't constitute charging money for these days. Although Respawn did eventually introduce some customizable options like visual icons for your Titan and a personal Titan voice changer, Titanfall never had anything game-changing added like a new Titan or weapon. After the 3 Titanfall DLCs ended, that's really when the next issue with the game arose: the player base. When Titanfall launched, it was everywhere on Twitch, YouTube, on FPS gamers' tongues all around the world, you name it. Many people believed this game would be around for a long time to come and had the chance of a real competitive scene. Unfortunately, the hype died down, big time. Just after 8 months after the launch of Titanfall, the player numbers had already died down to just a few thousand online at times. The competitive community really never got started, and the entire hype of the game fizzled out. And although this may be thought of as a failure for Titanfall, Respawn likely has taken it as the opposite. If you ask anyone who's played today what they think about the core gameplay of Titanfall, they'll likely praise it. It's hard to find someone who completely hates Titanfall. Respawn knows they created a product which people really like, and you can bet they'll be making sure for the sequel instead it's something that people really love. As of October 2015, Titanfall has sold about 10 million copies worldwide, which is an insane amount for the first game of a new franchise. I mean, to put that into perspective, the original Call of Duty sold less than 2 million copies. Now that was a different time, but go up to Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, that sold around 13.5 million copies. To be fair, not everyone bought Titanfall for $60, the price was dropped down to as cheap as $10 on sales, but the statistic still stands. Millions of people have tried Titanfall and appreciated the core gameplay. Now the onus is on Respawn to deliver that core gameplay once again and add what was missing. In other news, let's talk about the rumored dates for the Titanfall 2 launch. If you weren't aware, Titanfall 2 has already been confirmed at this point, and it's definitely happening. What we don't know is when. It's 100% likely that we'll see a trailer at E3 of 2016 at the least, and it has also been confirmed by EA CFO Blake Jorgensen that the game would release in the 2017 fiscal year. That means anywhere from April 2016 to March of 2017. Due to the fact that Titanfall 1 launched in March of 2014, I'd say it's almost certain that March 2017 will be the release date. That is, of course, unless Titanfall wants to compete with the likes of Call of Duty and go for a fall launch in 2016. I don't think that's going to happen, but anything is possible. If I was a betting man, I'd definitely put my money on March of 2017. So we still have quite a ways to go into the launch of Titanfall. It may seem like forever away, but you'll be surprised how quick the winter months will go by. Before you know it, Respawn will start to spill more info regarding E3, and by June of 2016, I'll assume we'll have some solid details and most likely some Titanfall 2 gameplay. The purpose of Titanfall Legends is to cover Titanfall 2 news in a hyped, cinematic fashion. If that sounds interesting to you, make sure to subscribe to become a Titanfall Legend and stay up to date. And if you're a hardcore fan, feel free to join the new Titanfall Legends newsletter below. If you sign up, you'll just get an email every time I release a Titanfall news video. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter at Jacksondale at the link below. This will likely be my last video before Christmas, so I just wanted to say Merry Christmas to you and expect me to upload again when there's some news or info to cover. This has been Lucas, aka Jacksondale, and until next time, stand by for Titanfall.